All right. Let's get going. Saw your post. I'm sorry for your loss. I was gonna call you today. Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah. I won't get into the details on the stream. All right, so where are we at on all this? Got our little guy flying around. We're hitting things. Got ships we can't hit. We got the camera. We're going up into the tube here. There's the tube. We're going in. Oh, hitting the wall. We're going it down. Okay. We gotta hurry, guys. We're running out of time. Yeah, sorry, I appreciate it. Lurking and rooting for you. Sorry, thanks. Appreciate it. Yeah. Yeah. So iframes is a big thing. Score. Chains. On screen. Points. Okay. So we need a way of displaying a point. So we're going to create a user interface for this, and we're going to try to animate some sort of cool, like, you got a point kind of thing. Let's see. Is there something? I mean, there's a label. We need a label. 3+, let's do. Spider Cat ate lasagna and now he's fat. He doesn't need a fork. He'll eat lasagna with beef or pork. Look out. He is a spider cat. Do. We've been seeing a lot of spiders lately. Think of the weather. We had a drastic temperature drop. I think all the spiders are like, I gotta find someplace warm. Brown recluses. We have those here. They're not really, they're pretty much leave you alone. So you mean 2x? I guess that's for a multiplier. I think what I'm going to do is have a base point for each ship. Oh my god. I can't imagine. Oh yeah, 2x. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Let's do an export button. Called reload. And all reload is going to do is call start tweening. Okay, so now we have a tweening script and we got a reload button. Property of reload button is nil, but callable was expected. It is callable, you son of a bitch. Let's close and reopen. First we'll save scripts point. Some spiders, like wolf spiders, are notorious for losing and having to regrow legs. That's comforting. Still complaining about this. We're gonna reload. There we go. All right, so that takes care of that. Here's another thing. Can we get a list of tweens off of a particular thingy-majiggy? I bet we can. May have broken my ankle yesterday. I was waiting at urgent care for an x-ray. Wish me luck. Holy smokes. I hope it's okay. We have create tween. Bind node. Maybe instead of reload, we just call it play. So we go from 0 to 1. Let's say we do it in a quarter of a second. And then we want to be all bouncy like, right? So elastic might actually be a good one. And we would do ease in. Trans is elastic. Can't even tell. Oh man, you hear that? That's my tummy. That is my tummy being very pissed off with me right now. Let's do this in super slow-mo. We'll do this in 10 seconds just to see what it's doing. We're going into negative numbers, Sally. We're going into negative numbers here, Sally. So that's because maybe we want to do spring? Yeah, this would pull us in the negatives, I guess. We don't want ease out. That's not too bad. All right, let's set this at 1 second. Oh man, my tummy. I'll be right back. Does Godot have its own tweening library? I mean, it's got a function and a bunch of stuff we can do with it. And you can actually tween your own. You could interpolate your own value. Like you could do your own tweening stuff too. And I think you can tween using like curves and things like that. So you could, because you could just travel the curve. So you can do a lot with it. It's just it's not very like, you have to do it all in code, and it would be nice to be able to create the chains and everything in more like what looks like an animation player. Yeah, you can do subtweens and stuff like that as well. Yeah, I'll be right back. I'll leave the game running. All right, back. So, boing. I always make sure to pre-bake my custom tween curve points with Bush's baked beans. Roll that beautiful tween footage. That one seems pretty good. So now we got to get it centered when it happens. If we put it in a center container, it's a control. Custom maximum size is going to be like 200. We do want it centered. But it's almost like we want the label centered. Because it's coming from... it's the center point. Offset transform. We would need to know the size of ourself first. So I think we would procedurally want to set, because right now it's 42, but if I type some stuff, it's going to change. And theoretically, we know the height, but we don't know the width. And if we were to say scale something, let's try that and see what we get. So if we scale this, it won't let us. That's weird because we're tweeting on the scale, but that's on the transform. We're scaling the scale. Let's search scale. Transform, offset transform. Who are you, my friend? Just scale. It's just me. Just little old me. Scale. Let's set we need to have a label we can talk to. Wixer. How you doing today, Growling? Sorrow, I hope your ankle's okay. Size. Okay. We hit the button. Unexpected identifier la bleu. Brimful of 45. Scale. Vector to Juan. Set the label text. Then we print the size. Ha! What if we do center here? No. What if we do center? Can't do that when we're centered. Vertical alignment, center. So many alignments. Rotation scale. Find out in about an hour. Hopefully in 2 with a solution. Nice. I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. How much is that cricket in the window? The one with the waggly tail. How much is that cricket in the window? Erg! Bring back my cricket to me. Cricket, cricket, bring back my cricket to me. Do, 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 do. Okay. We pivot offset. Change its rotation. Let's just try 26. Sorry, wouldn't be 26. Cricket's sleepy, man. Bring back my cricket to me. Still won't do it even with that. And we see it here if we change the scale. Nope, see, that's the way. I like it. Do-do-do-do-do-do. That's the way. I like it. Self. We're tweeting self. There's our fudging problem. We're tweeting label, baby. Bring back. Bring back. Bring back my label to me. Reload. Oh, it didn't like that at all. It didn't like that at all. No, baby. We're setting the scale on the wrong thing, too. Label. Scale. That's right. Boing, boing, boing. Okay, so we know we could center the some bitch. And we know it has something to do with the because if I get rid of these guys, use guys, if I get rid of use guys, yeah, we come from the side. There's got to be a way to be able to do this without this nonsense. Because if we set... Ugh. And I mean, we want the center point to be like wherever I put it, I would want it that to be the center. I need to know exactly where the center of the thing is. Pivot offset ratio. I mean, if it's a if it was a monospaced font, then we could do some things differently, I suppose. Positions at 0, 0. What happens if we make this the parent? Make scene root and we put it up in the corner. Position is at 0, 0 now. But before it was there. So it's still anchoring here. Curiouser and curiouser. What happens if I run it now? Reload. So we can still do it even if it's just la bleu. So attach script points. It says control. Control class name points. Scene points. Lovely. Deletes. Goodbye. We are. Okay. What if we had a setter for the point? Can we wait? Is there I mean, there's not a signal on like, no, it's just properties. And control is going to give us what? Yeah, we're not going to get anything that says the text has been set, right? But we could override the setter, and that's what could trigger the tween. So in the fact of setting the value, that would execute the tween starting. So if we overrode set, and we want to return false, right? Print property and value. Property and value. Okay. Property is text. And then the value is right there. And if we do right there, debug the size. And we go like this. We'll watch it as it grows. Bloody hell. But interesting. Interesting. Dumbass. Cricket. Bloody hell. What am I doing? What am I doing? What is he doing? That spacebar. It's a bloody son of a... What was he doing with that spacebar? Oh. What was he doing with that spacebar? Still. Just can't get enough. Just can't get enough. Await. Frame. It was like next frame. Draw frame. Something frame. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Just can't get enough. I just can't get enough. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. We have the size changing. Ah, bro. Bro. But that's weird. The size isn't like a setter, but it does change. Yeah, you'd think we'd be seeing a lot more stuff changing right now, but can I claim another different IO game instead of touch? What do you got? Show me what you got. Show me what you got. Do, 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 do. Pivot offset. The nodes pivot to the top left corner when you change its rotation or scale, which is exactly what we're doing. What am I doing? Oh, sweet Jesus. It's one of those games. You little shit. Excellent. I don't know what's happening right now. It's stuck on the countdown for the ad. I do have a ad blocking on my router levels, so maybe I can't play because I'm blocking ads. The ad play is not counting down because it's not showing the ad. So I might be too Fort Knox on my home router. That's lame. Maybe if I reload, will it remember where I was? There we go. Oh, he's trying to get me. Almost got me. I'm good. You're pretty good. Oh, got ads. It's weird it shows the loading thing even though it doesn't show an ad. Yeah, that's loud noises. Got an ad. Perfect. What's the point of the coins? Still gonna try. I'm checking all of them. Whew. This will be the last one. We'll come back to this. Not ads again. Okay. That's pretty funny. This one's tripping me out. What? I don't know why that last one's throwing me off. Theo, how's it going? All right, that's pretty fun. I like that kind of stuff. I'm not super into what do they call it? Kaizo or whatever. But that one's not too bad. I used to do that with Mario Maker levels when I was streaming on YouTube. Hey, buddy. Are you going to get in trouble? He's in here. Sorry, bud. What's wrong, buddy? What are you doing? Well, why don't you start cleaning then? Hmm? Why does that mean you have to come in this room? Come on, buddy. Listen to mama. Listen to mama, bud, okay? What if I do it on the easing itself? Is that overkill? Probably, but I mean, if it's a function call, this is insane. We can do a callback or a method. Question is, which one do we want? So say set pivot offset. It's literally just a callback. We'll do the same thing. We'll do it parallel. This is insane. We can't set a time on set. So if we do method from and to, it literally doesn't matter. Just make it really big. That does it. It's stupid though. Fiero, what's up? Did you know there was a Bush's Baked Beans mobile game before? It was a platformer kind of like Mario and Sonic with beans instead of coins called Bean Dash. I did not know that. Nathir, how you doing? Chilling. You got a friend over? Hanging out, nice. That's cool. Yeah. Yeah, dude. I don't know. As I get older, I don't have anyone to hang out with. I'm just like an old man, you know? Nobody to hang out with. But I got kids and everything, so it's all different. Yeah, that's true. Maybe that's why I stream, huh? That is true. Well, you know what? What if... Hear me out. Hold on now. What if we tween setting the value? Will it know it's finished? So if I tween method set and I set the text, right? Or what about tween callable set? So do a callback is the callable. The callable is set. And then the property is text. And then the value is in label text. Or how about, because we're just testing this. Export var text. Well, it already has a text. New text string. And then over here, we say new text string here. Sorry, I'm eating a bunch of sugar cookies because they're delicious. Cannot get return value because it returns void. That's all right. Callable expects as many parameters as it needs. Callable matches signature. Um, okay. Set text. So if we set the text this way, this is bonkers, but this might work. Imagine all this game dev alone. Oh, dude, for sure. 100%, man. Yeah, I mean, another reason why I stream is otherwise I'd just be doom scrolling. I would get so distracted and I wouldn't be able to stay focused. So I think you and I might do the same thing where we use streaming as a way of like clocking into work and like keeping ourselves honest. Kind of funny if you do ad blocker at the router, it breaks, while browser extension, it disables ads properly. I wonder if you do a combination of both, would it work? Because yeah, since I block on the router, I don't usually run ad blocking on my browser. All right, we're gonna tween the method once, a split second to set the pivot offset, and then do the scaling after we do the callback of setting the text. So first we're gonna set the text. So if we click here, new text is null. Hello. Text hello. It's been set to hello here. Invalid function tween callback in base tween. Cannot convert argument 1 from nil to callable. I don't know what you're talking about. I have no idea what the heck you just said. Let's see. My last butter cookie, guys. Pour one out for my last butter cookie. Callable self set. This is some bizarre voodoo stuff I'm doing here. Like, man, sometimes I end up surprising myself. Let's close and reopen. Oh man, I just saw Sheep Detective. That was a surprisingly good movie. 123. Representing a method or standalone function. It can either be a method or an object. It can be stored in a variable. Node queue free. Okay, so if I use set blind or set bind, I'm sorry. There we go. It works. Let's do a really big one. Whoops, up here. Yeah, it works. Really big one. Now we'll make it small. Only seems to work though when it's not quite what we want. Method. It would be nice to set the damn, so it's still not quite working. Yeah, see, the first time it's wrong. The way we can confirm this. Oh, it clapped too soon. We'll do it in slow motion to show you what's wrong. So this is what we want. Centered, right? A little bit of a bounce, right? But if we change it and then we run the tween, it goes like that the first time, and then the second time it's going to get the right value. Do it again. And then it's correct, right? So that's not what we want. I was hoping if we did it this way, we would know that this would wait until it's finished to then do this. But clearly it just does the call and lets it run. And there's no waiting for anything. Now, could I do, if I did some sort of, the set, let's see. This is on the object level. Object does not have signaling, right? Set is an object thing. Property list changed. Set property. Set deferred. If we do deferred, this is equivalent of calling call deferred. So if we call deferred and we wait, can we await on call deferred and then do this? Call deferred. And does call deferred give us like some sort of method set? And then we're going to go like this. This is a weird problem that I'm experiencing here. Call deferred. Finished. Await. Let's look up call deferred. There's a variant call deferred. So they're saying to wait the next frame. So if we go like this, I mean, I'm fine doing it any of these ways. So it's set deferred, and then we just pass the, like that. And then in that case, we can do the math afterwards, right here. Get rid of this, get rid of this, get rid of this, and just have the regular tween. Parabender, how's it going? Welcome in. How do you deal with the plane hitting an object? Does it bounce off? Yeah, so I'm going to have it shake, and then it's going to kind of have to keep moving. We can't have this, you can't have it like game over, you hit something. It's not going to be that kind of game. So you're going to get some kind of damage. It explicitly informs the design, though, Nathir, if you think about it, because suddenly there's like, we can't have like a really long thing that you can hit. So we're going to have iframes and stuff like that. Can I see your game? I like this genre. I think it's not very explored. Like Star Fox? Yeah, yeah. I mean, I just started. This is like the jam. I'm just getting stuff going. So this is like the jam for a jam. But I'm going to continue doing work on it afterwards. This is about... Whoops. I'm hitting things. This is about like... about 2 weeks worth of work. And we've got the rail going, and we can move the rail along. So now we're going up, and then we're coming down. We can still fly around like this. We've got like the comm system going. So you got your like Star Fox comm stuff, and then we're going down. Did you use a spline? I just used a rail 3D. And I put everything that I want to have be on the rail inside of that. So I can show you that. I call it rail. I overrode the function, but it's still our path. It's called a path 3D. Sorry, path 3D. I should call it rail 3D, the thing that I've got. So this is it. It's just using path 3D. And so you can just draw the path here. You draw the starting point. It's just splines, really. So you just you add points here with like the green, and then you can create curves on it and adjust where the points are, and you can delete the points as well. And then I've got some custom stuff along it that allows me to like the calm thing, I can trigger when they're going to happen along the path just by creating it and then dragging the point that it happens at. Catmull ROM splines. Can you procedurally generate parts of it? Like if you wanted a mathematical shape? Yeah, because it uses a curve. Is it splines? Is that splines the curve? Curve is spline? So it uses what Godot refers to as curve 3D. And so here's the curve, and these are all the points. And so you can mathematically set the position, set the out, and set the tilt. And so you can do that mathematically if you wanted to. I mean, it'd be up to you to calculate all that stuff, but it's totally possible. But yeah, I mean, I'm going to have like multi-rail, so we'll be able to change what rail we're on and stuff like that as well. So if you think of it like as the path 3D, multiple path 3Ds, the end point of one is the starting point of another. And so we can have it like, oh, this event occurred. You know, like in Star Fox 64, the first stage, Corneria, if you go through the arches that are like over the water, Falco will go through you'll go through the waterfall, right? So we'll be able to script like an event like that and essentially go, okay, when you get to the end of this path, then this one, because you did that, then this one is the one you're going on now. And so, you know, we can set that stuff up fairly easily. But some of these games, and this is stuff I haven't dealt with yet. One thing I always wanted to do is combine 2D bullet hell genre with a rail shooter. Yeah, so I'm going more, I'm going to combine more like shmup stuff with it. But yeah, I'm familiar with bullet hells. Catmull ROM splines are superior splines. Okay, good to know. I'll check it out. I'll check it out. Principle of this technique is, oh my gosh, I don't know. I don't know what Godot. I'll look it up, see what Godot uses. Somebody has a GitHub project for that. Like an enemy would shoot tons of bullets in a crazy mathematical pattern. It would be hard to judge bullet position in 3D. Yeah, yeah, that can kind of be a problem. For me, the hardest thing was just getting the camera to move right so far. So like setting that up where you come off to the side and the camera kind of pans with it, you know? And then you have like the bounds that you're in and stuff like that. So, but figuring out the camera movement stuff, that was interesting. So, and then also when the splines, when the rail starts to change, how do you maintain the consistency with the camera and all that kind of stuff? So figuring that out. Ikaruga. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, if you like Ikaruga, I got some, let me shout out Els. Els Dragoon is working on an NES game that uses the NES controller, the Zapper, and Rob the Robot. And it's an Ikaruga style game. So it's really cool. It's why their 2D plan art makes it easier to follow. Yeah. Is that a it's not strictly following the ship. Bear's here for all the deets. So what I'm doing, I think I can visualize it for you. So we have the center of the, I'll show you. Where is it? Let me turn this on. So we have the center frame node. There we go. So all we do right now, oh, let's see, it's behind us. How can I show it? Oh, I know what I'll do. Here, we're gonna run the game, and then I'm gonna free the camera up so you can see what's happening. So this is kind of behind the, lifting the skirt up, so to speak. And if I move around, which I can't right now because we're in the middle of, hang on, the ship, everything's gonna come back around. Give it a second. We'll let it come back around. But yeah, I think what I'm going for is a bit more Star Fox mixed with Panzer Dragoon and with shmups. Okay, so if I move, we'll wait for this to come back here as soon as it comes back around. It'll happen right about now. We're gonna get, and then we'll come back around. Here we go. So if I move, you'll see this green dot is moving in between that blue dot. That blue dot is our center. That's the center of the rail. And then all I'm doing is mathematically, I am just figuring out halfway between the center point of the rail and my ship. And then that's the dolly for the camera, basically. Does that make sense? So that is what the camera is dollying along on the rail. Why halfway? It just looks right. I ultimately, I'll probably adjust it a bit more that I'll probably set up a curve for it so that as you're getting further away, it kind of, it'll move more dramatically, and less intense initially, if at all, so we can ease it, you know? But for now, it's just like the math just kind of worked out that if we have the center point of the rail, and I didn't think I was going to figure it out either, Pear. Because I was like, it didn't feel right. It was like, it looked right, and the ship moved around. If I didn't have a camera that was moving, everything felt right. But the minute I had to start freeing the camera up and moving it with the ship, everything fell apart. And it was like, but I needed it because you need space to move around in, but you still need to be moving on a rail. And if you need space to move around in, you either make the ship really small or you kind of follow the ship and you do something about panning the camera. But the camera still needs to be going, so it created all these like weird problems. And I started thinking about it cinematically instead. And I was like, well, wait a minute. If I was filming this, how would I do this? Like, what would I be doing? So what happened if you just left it in the center? If we leave it, I could actually show you. If we leave it in the center of the rail, then it's just static and lifeless. And also you can't, like, you don't have as much area to move. I'll show you exactly what I mean. I'm thinking about making a video about everything that I've learned, like putting it on YouTube. Let's see. So if we don't set the dolly position, it should just be static. And then what'll happen is you'll see that I can move off the bounds of the area. But see, now this is all I could theoretically move in. But I can actually move way over here. You can't even see where I am with my system, right? I'm not even showing it because the camera can't move anymore. But this would be the bounds of where we could be without being able to move the camera. And The problem then becomes, well, okay, if you want there to be more space for the player to move, you need to pull back more. And so that, that creates a problem. So, so that's how that's happening. But yeah, like in here, you can see I've got another thing when you're doing the rail system, it helps to do like a wireframe. So you can see, if I go back to rail, you can see the path that it's going to take. And then again, like because it's a path 3D, you can just adjust the curve, right? So you can come here and then adjust the curve how you want it. Yeah. Yeah, okay. I'll be out there in like 2 seconds. Yeah. I gotta go help the wife and kids really quick with the Xbox. I'll be right back. I unplugged a bunch of stuff.
Sit down and have fun! Just sit down and have fun, damn it!
Better late than ever. How's it going? I like how your guy has to take a shit. It's just some test. It's some test com messages. Another game you should look at is Ray Crisis. Is that another one that's on Steam? I just downloaded. By the way, if you are into rail shooters, Panzer Dragoon is like $3 right now. So the remaster of Panzer Dragoon is $3. Ray Crisis. It doesn't look like it. Is it a classic arcade? PS1? Okay. I think I remember the box art. Was this a really early PS1 release? Like it had a long box? I'll tell you when you get back. Okay, I'll be right back, guys. All right, I'm back. Second, how's it going? I wish I knew how to quit you. Oh, God. Tapir, how's it going? It has a 3D multi-target selection on-rail shooter and shoot 'em up on one's pretty good. I'll check it out. Let me add that to my research here. That's another one. Ray Storm, Ray Crisis. Lots of rays going on here. Another one from Matt D. PS1 had some bangers, man. It's too bad they really were pushing for 3D on it, because it was a really good 2D machine. You guys know how rail shooters with guns that like House of Dead or the we had, the Resident Evil one? Yeah. What if you could just, and Link's crossbow training, don't forget that. I think that was technically, it wasn't really rails, it would just like kind of change your target set and everything. What if you could get on top of your ship and shoot while still moving? Parabear Bender, that's an interesting idea, because I was trying to think of like how could you make a rail shooter into multiplayer, and that might be a solution. Starblade by Namco, and also Gunblade. Gunblade is familiar. $45. Oh my God, dude. Second, that's crazy. Yeah, it's a Japanese strain. My Uncle Ray the Gray. The game. I have an Uncle Ray. That's the funny thing. That's what the type of the dead story mode is, yeah. Getting on top of your shit is called using the toilet. Gunblade is one of my favorite games ever. Gunblade 2 is also great. My go-to, like my favorite shooting game, I mean, Sunset Riders was a banger. If you could get a Sunset Rider cabinet, but that's more of a like side-scrolling, like a Metal Slug style thing. It does seem like the shooter genre is ripe for the picking, especially given that Steam has dedicated categories for it, not just tags. And you go to them, and there's like a few that are eating up all the money. So, call it raycasting. You do seem like a guy that would have an Uncle Ray. My favorite on-rail shooter is the VR game Pistol Whip. Interesting. And then, of course, there's Tempest, which is weird because you're locked around a fixed, like, area. Is Tempest a rail shooter? No, because things come at you, but you don't come at them. So instead of, you're on a fixed, like, rail that you could slide around on, and then all the enemies are coming towards you. Time Crisis, you could peek out of your cockpit and shoot your gun. All right, Matt's throwing me a bunch of links. Matt's giving me a ton of homework. Thanks, Dad. Hang on, let me grab it all. Let me grab all the links here that Matt's thrown in. So this is a Gunblade playthrough. Oh, dude, why won't it copy? There we go. Gunblade playthrough. Gunblade 2. Of those of the arcade light gun, the one what the for me the one that is my most favorite is why can't I scroll right now? Why is it zooming in? There we go. That's the New York playthrough. Gunblade 2. There's only 3 links. Crisis long play. Here we go. Crisis long play. That was the other one. What was it? Area 51. That's the one that I remember because that was at our actually if Lunesta was here, he would totally know. He would have all kinds of memories playing that. But we used to play Area 51 like every time we went to the theaters together. That was and the movie theaters were smart enough to put the arcades available to the public. And so Time Crisis games, but 2 and 3 are my faves, yeah. House of the Dead 2 is another classic, yeah. And there was a police one too. Yeah, there was a one with the Time Crisis with the pedal and the cover system, right? Yeah. Virtual Cop, that's the one. Man, Sega had so many bangers when it came to that. With all the shooting range stuff. One of them you were like a sniper, right? Was that Time Cop? You had like you could snipe. There was some police academy one. Yeah. Was on fire. Yeah, dude. Yeah. Yeah, they had so many. I swear there was like a long barrel gun game that was like those, but you were mostly sniping. Silent Scope, that's the one. Yeah, they had like the actual gun setup that you used. Sniper game was separate, yeah. One I'm thinking of is an old arcade one called Police Trainer. Man, that's such a vibe back then that's lost. Yeah, it's funny because you think about it, and it would be hard pressed to get those games made nowadays. Like it just wouldn't happen with like the state of like, shootings and stuff in the States. You can make a modern Police Trainer where they train you to hit your wives. No, that's a requirement to become a cop, dude. You're gonna get mixed up. Oh god. And then there's Point Blank and its sequels. Yeah. But yeah, so I'm imagining a mix of Panzer style multi-lock-on parabender along with your traditional or your more Star Fox rail. And Panzer frees the camera up. So you're going along a rail, and then Panzer will pan the camera around your ship, so to speak. Why lock on? Because my ultimate plan after the Jam game is to do something in the style of Macross or Robotech, where you have a ship that can transform from mech to a flying vehicle. And so when you're in the mech form, that's when you're going to get the Panzer Dragoon style multi-lock system, and everything kind of slows down a bit more. And then when you're on the ship, then you're stuck on the rail and you're going a lot faster. So hopefully it'll be an interesting mix of maneuvering and shooting, and then going from quickly targeting and eliminating, or something along those lines. Half of the fun of Gunblade was that you got this huge plastic gun that vibrated as he shot like a giant machine gun. It's totally silly. Yeah. Yeah, and they would use like reloading was like this, like it was weird, Time, what was it? Cop, what was it? It wasn't Time Cop, was it? Time Crisis, yeah. Time Cop's the vehicle for what's his name. But yeah, there was a beautiful period where the light gun games were on console as well. It was amazing. The really bad, that's Area 51. That's the one I remember. Yeah, they were shitty. It was the only one I ever had access to, primarily. I want to lock onto my friends and become a big old mega robot. Yeah. I've been playing around with like what could multiplayer look like in my head about these games as well. Oh my god, I forgot about Area 51. Yeah. A lot of light gun games are still being made. Jurassic Park, yeah. And that one, Eugene Jarvis is actually behind, or at least the creative influence, still to this day, on like he's on the main, he's like one of the main credits on the Jurassic Park one, and on the Avatar one, I think. There's a Halo one. Yeah. This is actual Aliens license game. Oh, that's the crazy. The Aliens game. I always remember this, but the Aliens game on PS1 standardized the controller setup for FPSs, which at that point in time still hadn't been figured out. And it was like, it's so funny. There's a well-known Game Informer review of it that's lambasting what is now standard controls. And in the complaining about it, he's describing it like it's this weird setup and arrangement. You use both thumbsticks and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, it doesn't make any sense. And it's like literally the standard. It's really funny. It's really funny to read it. Yeah. Oh, to be worth enough money just to randomly do arcade games. The Halo one made me giggle. Yeah. Yeah, that would be a blast. I mean, arcade games are just fun. You know? Like, dear God. Couldn't we use a little bit more of that? Does everyone have to be a sad dad? Does every game have to be sad dad? Like my kid died. Like, is that really what we're doing? Is this what we have now? I don't care what you end up with, as long as each player has a gauge that charges up individually. When everyone is fully charged, you can lock on onto each other as a mega robot. That's all I ask. I want to be the left leg of a mega robot with a big old laser gun coming out of the toes. That'd be so dope. Kind of have like a King of the Fighters vibe to it almost, but like a kaiju going into like a kaiju mode. That'd be interesting. That's oddly specific. It doesn't even have to look like a humanoid, right? It just has to be this giant other construction of something. So it could just be a bigger ship that just like you're the one of the guns on the ship. And the question is like, do you surrender control so that all of the players are now responsible for like targeting and stuff, and it's kind of moving on its own, maybe? I don't know. Or is one person driving it? Because then everyone's going to want to be that one person, right? So how do you kind of like square that? Right, it could combine and look like anything. It's an ultimately only lasts for a little bit. Yeah, that'd be dope. I mean, I like the idea. I mean, a multiplayer rail shooter, the one solution is to just literally you're on the same rail as everyone else, right? But I like the idea of like crisscrossing, and like you're on one rail and they're on another, or maybe if there is forked paths, it's like I'm gonna go left. You know, if it's arcade style, whoever picks left, and if there's two other players, then forward and right are the only other options. And then whoever picks right, then the person left has to go forward, right? So maybe you do something like that, and it's kind of forking off, and then it joins back together, and that's when you can do those supers and stuff. Rail shooters are just interactive roller coasters. They are, and the key, the thing that makes them, it's hard to like without somebody new to it. It's the replayability of it that's like the thing, right? It's a roller coaster ride that you get better at every single time you ride it. That's like how it works, right? And so then it becomes like, oh, I can do this run better, and that kind of thing. And that's where you do the unlocking paths, where it's like, okay, you did better, so now you get this whole other game experience or whatever. Make it merit based. Whoever has the lowest score has to be the pelvis. The anus. You're just facing behind. You're like, oh, this is down and towards the ground. Oh, we're doing our new special. Oh, it's like, oh, this is great. But then the other possible solution with a rail shooter, like I was saying, is to do something like Han Solo's the Millennium Falcon. They're leaving the Death Star, and two people are on guns, and one person's flying the ship, kind of thing. And maybe even the person flying can shoot as well. But then it's like now you're on a turret system, and you're kind of beholden to whatever the main player is doing. But you have all this. You don't have 6 degrees of freedom. You're on something that has 6 degrees of freedom, and now, well, and not even that because it's a rail. Quick and dirty multiplayer would be for the other players to be options that follow the ship in the first person with turrets that fire. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not, I know I can do the multiplayer thing. It is, the problem is like prototyping something is kind of an expensive thing to mess around with and find out it doesn't work. Like it's a little bit of a time sink to find out. So I think what I'll do is I'll make it local co-op and try it that way, because that's easier to implement without having to think about netcode initially, and kind of code it around the idea that it's netcode, and then get the feel right with split screen, all that stuff, and go, okay, this is cool. Let's make it into a multiplayer thing. And then at that point, if I can integrate netcode right, you have local co-op and you have networked as well. Which is like local co-op is like, our local multiplayer, especially split screen, is like a rarity now. Starblade, although you won't need to smooth out the positioning. I got that on there. Yeah, I've got it on there. All you can do is drop bombs. Yeah. And you have to like, the other players have to feed the metal that is needed in order for you to produce the bombs, and so you can get jammed up, not be able to bomb anymore. I guess we're getting a big heat wave is coming. But we're in an especially cool period right now where we're at. I almost had to cover up our garden. The rats in the mud. Dude, Rizzo was the best in that. That is by far the best version of Christmas Carol on film, is the Muppets one. And I'll like totally, I believe that. The other thing is, if you have a mark and shoot type mechanic, the second player can do the marking for the first, or vice versa, splitting the roles between two players. Yeah, you could have like a commander role where it's like you literally dividing the work out for everyone and like issuing orders or something. And then if you're playing single player, you could do something where you're still doing that, but you're also doing the marking thing for your like AI, attachments. Munglo, thank you for the raid.
That's cool. Cool? Yeah, cool.
We do a shout out for Munglo.
It's cool. It's not cool.
What did I was watching you yesterday and something really funny happened. I forget what it was. How are you doing? Thank you for the raid. I appreciate it. We're talking about rail shooters right now, and what we could do with what I'm working on. I'm working on points right now. I'm just trying to get the system for popping the points up. And I was talking about, we got a little distracted, but I was talking about some of the issues that I was experiencing with it. You just laughed at my ineptitude. Nah. No. Speaking of multiplayer, Mungalo's hard at work at that stuff as well. We were literally just talking about multiplayer. Okay, so I think I have a solution for that then. So that's what we're going to do with that. And going back over here, so we set the text value. We defer to do that. We wait on a frame, and then we start to tween, and we do the math on the sizing and everything. That seems to be the cleanest way to do it. I don't like it at all, but it's better than doing a bunch of weird stuff with like calling a method on every single tween, just all kinds of weird stuff. We don't have to worry about that. I'm debating on doing multiplayer for my game too. I might pull out a demo. What are you doing it on? Do you have an engine or are you doing from scratch? I don't know anything about what you're working on, Matt. I'm at the point where I'll run Sundays as playtest day from here on forward to try to soak motivation and keep on track. That's awesome. Dude, playtesting is a critical piece of it all. And I think that when you start to do that and you start getting feedback, it is absolutely the way you can make things better and like start to see your blind spots. Unity, I'm doing a little mini golf game. Nice. Mini golf. I had a mini golf idea. I don't want to tell Matt. I have an idea for a mini golf game. And so picture this. It's mini golf, right? Everyone can play at the same time. So you already have like a little bit of a pandemonium element. But it's also a beat 'em up. Okay? And you're Vikings. And you land on the island that is the mini golf course, and there's enemies, and you can beat the shit out of each other too. And you're trying to also play mini golf to get the golf ball into the hole. And then it's still just like this multiplayer chaotic beat 'em up thing. And you can kind of like intentionally let enemies loose to mess with the other player or like beat the crap out of them or something and stuff like that. But so golf, but mini golf. So basically real life mini golf. Today I fixed most things and only introduced one new bug. Let's see. Okay. Vantamum. This is a good idea. Do it. It would require so much art and assets. It's like one I've got banked away that I'm like, this could be really cool, but I would need some money to be able to pay like a bunch of other guys to do all the art and everything. So battle golf, but mini golf. Oh, there's already a thing. No, there's a newer one called battle golf. Let me see what it's like. But this will be pretty straightforward. No gimmicks, just the challenging mini golf. Yeah. Steam, let me check it out. Library store. Battle golf. Oh, there's super battle golf. No, this isn't. I mean, it would be something like this, but yeah, no. This is too. I'm imagining like 2D, but
and here we see Bob going for the putt. Does he have what it takes to finish? I guess not.
this is kind of it though, in a way. When did this come out? Yeah. See, I had this idea like about 3 years ago when I was still in the office. God bless America. So what I'm learning is I should just pick one of my ideas and go for it. Oh, fucking hell. Look at those reviews. How much are they selling it for? No, don't find out, Cricket. Don't find out.
Please sit down and have fun.
God
Just
bless
sit down and have fun, damn it.
Oh, man. Time machines. Do your super weird side project idea so I don't have to. I have this stupid idea of taking my IK excavator. Saki's, thanks for the follow. Inverse kinematics excavator, add multiplayer and some kind of hungry hippo game out of it. I just want the idea to go away. Yeah, battle golf. I didn't think about the whole battle golf thing. Thought it would be fun, but rocket launching your friend trying to putt only stays funny for so long. Right. Yeah. That's why I felt like for me it was the combination of a beat 'em up where it's like a traditional beat 'em up inside of this other thing. And it's not just you and the other players, it's like you and like trying to still do the golfing part. You take golf and you take worms and you put them into a blender and make worms golf. Got to come up with a different idea. I just shouldn't be. Hey, I'm also making a game. Smart detection. Automod. Yeah. Yeah, if you want to throw it in chat. Yeah. Okay. Sing Godot too. All right, don't be porn. Don't be porn. Don't be porn. What is going on?
Direct the puck, outsmart. What if you could change the game mid-game? Wall puck lets you spawn walls on the fly. Redirect the puck, outsmart your opponent, and take the win. Play free at itch.io. Link in bio.
I would say just ditch the AI voice unless you're doing it ironically.
What if you could change the game mid-game? Wall puck lets you spawn walls on the fly. Redirect the puck, outsmart your opponent, and take the win.
Oh,
Play
I see.
free at itch.io. Link in bio. What if you could change the game mid...
That's cool. Basically 3D air hockey, but you can place walls. Gotcha. Let's take a tactical battle RPG and golf. So you have one character in your inventory who's the golfer, and 3 or 4 other characters act as support. You have to keep enemies at bay while you take your shot. I already have a tactics engine that I completely made. Had it fully working. I did... I had a whole system in place, and then I just abandoned it right after my first playtest. And not because I was getting bad feedback either. But because I just want to sabotage my success. I don't even know. I could slow it down, I guess, but I haven't really gotten feedback on how it felt. It's hard to get playtesters. Yeah. Link your itch page. I'll give you a follow on itch. I have a play my game in my Discord if you want to, and then whenever I get a chance, I go through that and I just play the games in there. It's going to be the big challenge is making it feel smooth. What might help with your playtesting too is to not only have executables, but also have a web build. especially on itch. Is it multiplayer? Yes. I hosted on a 30-day free trial server. So one trick that I learned with doing multiplayer in the cheap way is I just had a WebSocket server that was like a lobby system, and then it would do peer-to-peer connection after that. So the lobby would then create the peer-to-peer connections, and one of the peers was the server, so that I didn't have to have like a really expensive server running. And then I could use something like Nginx or whatever it's called, and set up a proxy, like just have a shitty ass computer running that did the WebSockets for the lobby system. So that's what I did for like a dungeon crawler game that I was working on for a bit. I'm at the trying to make good looking UI stage of the game's life cycle. Dude, it's such a pain in the ass. In my head, it's sort of like trying to defend the golf character from attackers while they get shot at. Each shot is different encounter based on the hole, etc. Yeah. Tactics is interesting. I was trying to think of I had an idea for a turn-based racing game, which is like, hey, I got an idea for, let's take all the fun out of racing games. Is basically what it turned into. And let's add a card system into it as well. I've spent most of my career being a UI dev lead in games. I usually work with amazing artists to do all this. That's what Tim's doing? Oh, really? Right now? He's doing a turn-based? Seriously? And he's got a deck in it as well? Are you totally serious? I couldn't get past, like in my head, I would play the game and I couldn't get, there was like some real issues with it that I couldn't work out. I do think paper prototyping or mentally playing a game in your head is a good way of like going, is this going to be fun or not? Look, if you're going to do turn-based racing game, it had better be a roguelike deck builder too. There's various racing board games. They're not much fun though. Yeah, it just was like, okay, so I'm overtaking and now you're overtaking me. And then do I, like, if you could do it in a way where there was something about like taking turns in like the apex of a turn and like combining that into the apex of a turn is like the strategical thing where you're trying to stop someone from overtaking you or something. And so maybe you intentionally under or oversteer. Maybe you could do something like that. I don't know.
That's cool.
Cool?
Yeah, cool.
You think it's cool?
It's cool.
It's not cool.
Eris Ezra, thanks for the raid. I appreciate it. We're talking a lot. I'm kind of just chit-chatting right now. Hopefully I got your name right. Do a shout out. Let me check out what you're up to. What are you working on? I'm working on a Star Foxian like game for a game jam. Hang on a second. Let me get rid of. I've got some debugging stuff on right now. Just a work in progress, like getting all the systems going. You can shoot things and blow them up and fly through rings. And then we got the rail system going. We got a boost thing. The sounds are all wrong. There's a bunch of stuff that's wrong about it. And then we can go, we got the rail system so we can tell it where we want it to go. And our ship follows the rail.
Who taught you how to do this stuff?
And then
You, all right? I learned it by watching you.
Supaholic, thanks for the follow. I appreciate it. And then we go down here and we crash into the ground. And it just starts over because we're in kind of prototype land. Peak text. Paula. Yeah, poop is a running theme when I'm debugging. What about you? Let me check out. Let me go to the stream.
And if they reach the threshold for it, if they don't have it, and then
5-hour stream. Wizard Rhythm typing cafe game. Nice. It looked like you were in Godot.
Did I read that? Yeah, I did read that correctly as well.
Nice.
Okay. Well then, let me click on this guy here. The game will load up. Let me go ahead and meet this guy here. Let me make sure.
Wait a minute. What is this? What is this Panku console? What is this? Did someone say typing game? You wanted typing games. We got typing games. Rodrigo, how's it going? Amy, how's it going? Thanks for coming in. Perfectly normal streams. I've been working on a tutorial for the last 3 months. Oh, for the typing game. Okay. It was like, huh? Oh, yeah. Rhythm typing. I'm doing normal typing. The world needs more typing games. Yeah.
The game is opened here. Let me click on you here. Let me click on you here.
And of course, OG Mavis Beacon, right?
Should be good to go. Then couldn't you make it work when only talked to? I believe 5 months of dev time, but 3 sacrifices? There's no sacrifice.
It's a command screen that lets you type in a console. What? What's now? Oh, is this immediate mode interface? Is this wait. Can you draw this just by putting in some commands? Is this immediate mode? If that makes sense, do you know what I'm talking about? Modular extensible. Holy shoot. Holy smokes. Multi-window UI. Sound magical. Everyone's, yeah. Greg's working on typing game. Blood, how's it going? Reminder, folks, take a break, save, stretch, hydrate if you haven't in a while. Yeah, I should go grab a drink. I got it because I wanted a command screen like Minecraft. So here's my question. Can you say in your code, I want a console window and here's what I want inside that console window? That's close to immediate mode. So mGUI is like the example. A lot of game dev, when you're doing your own thing, uses mGUI for tooling and stuff. And it looks like this. And so it's just immediate mode GUI, which just means that like you can make a GUI in code programmatically or procedurally, however you want to call it. And you don't have to like design the UI like you do when you're doing controls in Godot. I'm not sure. I use it to run functions as commands. Oh, I see. Okay. So you could just bring up a terminal basically and then execute a command and it'll run a function for you on it. Panku. Is that like pancake in Japanese? What does that mean? Punk. Panku is punk in Japanese, apparently. Okay. Turn any object into a tweakable property panel. Automatically convert all export properties in your script into an inspector window. In the running game. This is handy, especially if you want to do like give a debug build to somebody, but let them tweak some things. History, texture viewer, miscellaneous commands. Since Panku console is modular, you can easily remove or add features to suit your needs. Where's the docs? You're getting me so sidetracked right now. It's a retain mode UI. Like retainers. Want a command screen like Minecraft? I'm not sure. I used to run you're talking about different parts of the thing entirely. Me. Tane mode in computer graphics is a pattern. Graphics library, instead of the client retains the scene to be rendered, the client calls the graphics library. It calls into the graphics library, causing the actual rendering, but make use of some extensive indirection resources. Well, I've used mGUI before, and I definitely like I preferred it. The problem with Godot and mGUI is that it's C based, C++. And because you're using the one that's been released is you're using GDScript hooks into it. If you don't close correctly, you're just going to kill the game or whatever. And so it's very hard because it's not a compiled language. It's very easy that you can shoot yourself in the foot because you're calling something that's going to execute at runtime that can just kill the game. And so I found that mGUI is great if you're using C# in Godot, but if you're using GD scripts, it's not in my opinion, it's just a little bit, it's kind of dangerous, I guess you could say. Let's see. Something going on in the Discord. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I'm totally getting sidetracked. Okay, that's installing plugins. Is there docs here, or is this it? Some of this, yeah. So there's a README. Docs. FAQ. Where's like the main? Interesting. I'll definitely check this out. It's interesting. Rodrigo, thanks for being here. Let me do a shout out to Rodrigo as well. I did a shout out to, did I? Let me do it. Make sure I did a shout out to. Yeah, I did. Okay. And then I got to do shout out to Tapir. I have 5 hours of meetings tomorrow. How dare they? Seriously. Okay, so back what I was actually working on. Back to I was gonna show the game. Well, but then I wanted to see. Oh Jesus. Good Lord. Super distracted. So yeah, in case you're new here, you don't know what's going on. We're working on a jam game. The theme is cyberpunk, and we're trying to make like a Star Fox style game. And so this is basically it right now. Yeah, and we got the rails going, we got shooting going. There's a ton of other things we need to do. Right now I'm just working on like showing points or some sort of like score. And so that's what I'm working on. Excuse me. Okay. Let me go grab a drink really quick and we'll get to work. I'll be right back. All right. But yeah, I do like the conventions of like what I understand as immediate mode, which is essentially you can just say in your code, I want a window, and now here's a button. And essentially you put it in your process step and it's looping, right? And then it's just like drawing that all the time. And then it's just so much easier than like when you're dealing with like a visual editing thing like this. You have a control, now you need to talk to it, so now you have to have like a reference to that thing, and then you're designing some of it here, but then you're also changing things of it in code, and it's just like things are living in two different spots. And then like it's just sometimes when you're just trying to get something going, it's just too much, and it's just really cumbersome. Okay, so now that we know we can do this, what we can do is set up. We can get rid of set. Okay, and let's do a really big number. Okay, so that's working right. And I'd like for it to sort of come in at some sort of random angle and then sort of straighten out. Just so there's some amount of randomness to it that's popping up. So let's go ahead and so we're calling it start tweeting. This is just going to be a function that we can call showing, like show points, and then the value here, amount, is an integer. And then what we do is we just say amount. Is there a toString on no, just string amount, str amount? Is that it? I don't know, the autocomplete's not working. Of course it's not, it never is. Start tweeting doesn't exist anymore. Is there? Let me double check this, see if there is a toString. No. So show points. This is just for testing. We can get rid of that. We don't need that anymore. This doesn't have to be a, so var tween, and go like that. Okay, so that's better. Get rid of new text. Start tweeting now uses show points. And we're going to use label text as a string, except I think we got it. I think we've got it. Show points expected one call, reload button. Yeah. So how about we say export var points int, and then here on show points we just pass that across. Cannot get the return value. Well, how about you don't care about it? How about if it's always true? Is that enough? Now it needs to be called with a wait. Why do you give a damn? Do we say bind points? But then it's always going to be that value when we first start. Points. Reload. Invalid callable. Start tweeting is an invalid callable. There's no start tweeting. Close and reopen. Now it says it's 0. Still thinks it's 0. What if we set points to 0? I don't know. I'd like to be able to test this easily. Okay, fine. Here's what we'll do. This is stupid, but we'll do this. Show editor, show points. And what this does is very stupidly. It goes editor, show points. And we can stop bitching about it. And then we're just going to go show points. Points. How about that? Can I get return value? There you go. But what if? But what if? Show points. P is not declared. Your mom is not declared. Can I bind it? Like that? Could we do that? Could we do that? Reload. It's a big fat no. Let's, just to be sure. Let's reload all of Godot. Because sometimes she's a bit cranky. And, I shouldn't maybe I shouldn't say she and then cranky in the same sentence. Really put my foot in my mouth there. It's not what I mean. Okay. Let's bring back editor. Sorry. Editor show points. Editor func. Editor show points. Void. Export. Var points. Int. Show points. Points. Like that. Bingo bango. Bingo bango. And we've broken something. Well, we don't know what because we're not getting any hinting here. Unexpected indent. Who would have known? Oh, because I did semicolon instead of colon. Okay. Reload. Hates our guts. Close. Reopen. Reload. There we go. 10. Change it to 101. All right, cool. So, so now we can still test this. I like this. I like this this idea of being able to like try the thing out and see what it looks like without having to running the entire game every time. All right. Do we need label? No, we are label. Property is on self. Look at that. Okay. Cleaning up what we have. Not too shabby. So we wanted that like random randomness. What I would love is that the orientation of the whole thing is based off of the angle of the hit from the laser itself. Wouldn't that be dope? But we're not going to do that right now because that involves math. And notoriously, whenever I try to do anything math related, it ends up being the entire stream because I'm a complete idiot and I have to do it in the most caveman-like way possible, which means I'm just hitting my head against this rock over and over again until I'm like bonk. Zonk? Bonk? Was it called bonk? I never got to play bonk. I always wanted to. I didn't have a TurboGrafx. Or Neo Geo. I always get all that stuff confused. So along this, we're gonna on parallel. We're gonna tween. We're gonna pick a random rotation to start out at. And this is interesting because all we have to do is tween two zeroed out. And so we just say rotation and we just create random. And so I don't know if we can do vector 3 random. There's no like random call here. And so if it is a vector 3, we want to, but it's not, it's vec2 because we're doing 2 points of rotation or X and Y. So, well, what is rotation? What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Rotation is literally a float. That's what we want. So it's just a float value. This gets easier. So we go rand f, and between 0 and 1. So we go, give me a random float, multiply it by tau, which is a full circle. And that's our random rotation, right? And then we go, so we're getting some number between 0 and tau. And then we're setting rotation back to our original just zeroed out vector. No, float. It's just 0. 0.0. So we're going to go back to 0. And then we're going to do this in the same amount of time. And then let's do something fun with the easing. I'm going to copy this and see what it looks like. And then we'll try something else if we don't like it. Okay. Tween property. Invalid argument. This needs to be in quotes. I don't like that at all. I don't like that it doesn't know. And it must have something to do with being a scripted language or something. I'm not even sure. Oh, we have a search. Here we go. Reload. Boing, boing. Is it the same every time? Let's slow motion this. Slow motion. 5 seconds.
Who taught you how to do this stuff?
You, alright? I learned it by watching you.
Mad Lich King, thanks for the follow. Oh, because it's going to pick. It's not, it is different every time. But because it's not a potentially negative number. I don't know if, what am I doing wrong here? Why can't I reload? Let's close, save. Why can't I? Do it again. It seems to be the same every time. Let's look at the number that we're getting. Print, debug, rotation. Rotate. %s. That seems like a good, healthy random number if I ever saw one. That seems like another good, healthy random number. Why does it seem to be the same every time? No, it is different. So the thing about this is we're always going to be coming from the same. Do we need to tween like, can we pick a random positive or negative? Can we get it? Because it's always appearing to do it like it's counterclockwise. So what if we did it from pi and then we multiplied by a random if I did a random float range between -1 and 1, and then we just multiplied I just want the value. It's like I want a random heads or tails, right? I want a random, it's either positive or negative, and that way when it evens out, it does so. So there's absolute, right? No matter what, if we could do absolute. Absolute's gonna what? It's gonna make us always positive. We don't want that. But if we floor, a positive number, I think if we just floor it, that would be enough. There we go. Okay, so that came the other way. But if we floor that, yeah, see, we don't want to do that. I don't know how to see. This is math, right? This is what I'm talking about. We don't want to floor it. We want.
Please sit down and have fun.
What if we did
Just
this?
sit down and have fun, damn it.
Random F range, and then we'll just go between negative tau. Why am I overthinking this, right? Negative tau and tau. And now we have a range that it could be. There we go. There's our coin flip. Okay, so now we potentially are getting a negative rotation or a positive rotation, which means when we adjust, in theory, I'm doing this in slow-mo, occasionally, whoa! No, that's not what we want. Dabu, thanks for the follow. I appreciate it. Superholic, I don't know if I got your follow. Thank you so much. So that didn't do what we wanted. Why is that? Because we end up with a number larger than, I guess if we're setting it as negative, we end up with a giant positive number. I don't quite understand what happened there. Random float range times, times pi. we just need the random tau. I don't need that pi anymore. Whee! Okay. I think we have something now. Okay, so let's go back to our normal speed. 0.25. This is just a magic number. Boing, 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 boing. We could probably range it a little bit better too. Like if we only did pi, it would be half of a rotation. So or pi 3 times is tau, right? Is that it? So pi isn't even, is tau's like 12 something, is it? Or is it like, no? It's pi 2 times? Tau is 2 pi? Okay. Pi's pretty good. This is good. I'm not getting a lot of random pi, or negative pi though. That's weird. Okay, so it's pretty good to pop up like that. Pi is 180. Yeah, 360. Pi is pretty good. You son of a bitch. It's so stupid. Growling all the time if I'm lurking on someone's stream. I see you in there just dad joking your ass off, and it always cheers me up. Like all the time. And you're like your ability to just come up with something based off of what somebody said and just riff off of it is like incredible. Okay. So we can get rid of this magic number. And I am becoming a monolith lover. I love putting all of my everything all in one spot as much as I can. Like, oh, I should put like for instance, consts. Every const that I have is a configurable option for the game. Right? And so to me, it's like, well, I should just have them all in one spot. Right? They should just be in one spot. But why put a const in cause it's a const, right? It's like automatically a global in a way. And so it's just like, but I'm going to edit it and I don't want to have to go into the class of the thing to find that const. Like, I just want to look at them all and go, okay. And start, I don't know. So like, I'm going to do the const for the tween speed for the point speed, I guess we'll call it float. And we'll do 0.25, right? Same. Get Mr. Data segment over here. So now it's under game dot point speed. Okay. But I definitely have gone full circle because I read Uncle Bob, I read Clean Code and all that stuff. And a lot of that stuff I just kind of threw out the window. I don't do this. I have constants relative to where they live, so I have sensible naming. Well, you just put it in the name of the const. Then you have it in the one spot. And it's like, oh, okay, that's for that. But no, I get what you're saying too. But sometimes what I'll do is I'll throw in a static, like I'll throw in config, and then I'll put all my consts in there. So I'm grabbing config dot whatever. But then I have just that, I go to that config and there's everything, right? There's pros and cons. Yeah, I can see it. What I could see is if you're in an environment where you only want to allow certain people to edit certain things that affect the output of the game in terms of presentation or timing or things like that, then you put in your Git, certain people can't commit certain files or whatever. And so then only that is available. You put the const in there. And now you've separated duties and stuff in the code as well, so that you can't accidentally have someone somewhere else fuck with it. Sorry for cussing. But like that way, it's totally like separation of duties is tied into the structure of the code itself. So that, what was it? There was some basketball game I remember hearing about where the AI, they had this like super complicated new AI thing. And it just wasn't there because somebody had commented out something before they went gold. And so it got pressed to disk and it was like gone. Like it was like one little flag and like the whole thing wasn't there anymore. And I guess no one ever noticed. And so this whole thing that they had just never even, all this code never ran. That happened with the Aliens game. What was it? Aliens versus Predator or whatever? Like there was some multiplayer Aliens game that had that with the AI, where somebody found in the INI file, there was some sort of flag that you could change, and suddenly, because everyone complained, I forget which one it was, but everyone was complaining about the AI in it. And it was like some INI file, the default for it was wrong, and and so it just like
Please sit down and have
running.
fun. Just sit down and have fun, damn it.
Zhao, thanks for the follow. Hopefully I'm saying that right. I don't know. Apologize if I'm not. Yeah, what was it? Multiplayer aliens game AI broken INI fix. Colonial aliens, colonial marines. To fix the broken AI in multiplayer game Alien Colonial Marines, you need to edit the configuration file located in My Documents, My Games, Aliens Colonial Marines, pecan game, config, pecan engine.ini. Change the line. Here it is. Change the line from class remapping equals pecan game, pecan's sequence act, attach Xeno to tether. To what's the difference? I'm trying to see the difference. I literally can't tell a difference here. Oh my God, it's a typo. Tether is spelled wrong. TEA to TET. Somebody, it was a typo. I couldn't even tell. No wonder it happened. But how do you miss this, though? That's the crazy part. I just wonder how that was ever shipped with that disabled. I'm sure someone has a good war story. My guess, because this happens with save files as you're working on like a game and you're starting to create the save file and you're working it out and everything, depending on how you do it. But like, you can write to the file correctly once and it works for you that way. But then you make a change, and when that file now needs to be created, if you're not careful, like you can still have like the old stuff in there, or like something that's new isn't getting added that should have been, but it worked for you and everyone else because during development that flag or whatever was put into the file, but then you don't have it being instantiated when it's first created or something. I debated centrality versus locality for constant and shit on a per project basis. Yeah, I totally get you on that. What are you doing here? I have something. Speaking of aliens versus predators. How you doing? Yeah. You need me to come into the room?
Yeah, because we something.
Okay. Q&A should be testing what is built off of the build machine, which should be what you ship. Yeah, but the danger is, see, this is what I think could have happened is at some point, even in QA, like an INI file was configured correctly. Do you know what I mean? And then something changed during development, but but QA is not flushing out that folder, like this whole, config folder or whatever. And maybe that's why it never actually got picked up on. Is that that should never happen to TM. I agree it shouldn't happen. All right, I'll be right back. I gotta see what my kid wants. They should be totally clean. should. Yeah. But I've been moving more towards centrality. I feel like for the indiness of like development, this makes sense. Like to me, this is like I remember I saw well, especially now, like I don't tap your it seems like the latest release of Godot. I don't know if you noticed this, but Godot will hot reload your const changes now at run. Like while the game is running, if you change the const, it will now be instituted in the game. Because I feel like that's new to 4 whatever we're on, 4.6 or 4.7. What are we on? 4.7. Because I always would do that, and I would be so mad that it didn't run. It didn't change at runtime, and I get it, but I was always like, damn, like, because that's where I put my configurations, like for everything. So like, why you're making me want to put everything in just like a standard variable just so I can be able to change it at runtime. But I don't know when it changed, but now you can change the const as it's running, which is like really handy. It sort of goes in the face of what a const is, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. That's a bummer because that directly affected the review score. And just to have that mess up and really impact the game sales, it's like man, it's like they say with regulations are paid for in blood. And at least you'd hope that's how regulations are. And they're not just for sakes of being a regulation, right? But obviously you don't want anyone to die. But like in game development, you know, some of this stuff is earned in like the entire studio goes under because somebody fucked up. I'd hate to be that guy. It's on everyone though. I'm with you, Matt. Like that should be caught, and it should be everyone's responsibility to be like alert and aware of it. It is wild though. It definitely is a typo. Somebody's, I don't know. It's how to me, the way that should have been caught. This is why you do assertions. The way that should have been caught is whatever the line of code is that takes that configuration is quietly airing out because it's got something that's misspelled as a value and it must have some line of code in there, or the way that it operates is such that it's like, oh, okay, I can't find that one. Never mind. And it just kind of moves along. But that's where you put an assertion and you go, hey, you set this value to, I don't know what this is. Like, what is this? And stop everything because something is wrong here that should never be this way. And then you take the assertions out of the build that goes to everybody else, right? But like, I don't know. The final build, right? It's not there anymore. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it is interesting because it does make you wonder, like, how the hell did that happen? And at some point we'll find out. You know, it'll come up, but it's a bummer. Okay. So we have our text here, set deferred string amount. So what we're going to do actually is say %s, and then we do space plus, and then we do % here, and now we can get rid of the string thing. And now we got some string formatting going on there. We're adding a little plus next to our number. So then we reload, and we got a little plus. Should we do plus on the left side? I feel like maybe the plus should be on the other side. Plus. Now, is this an internationalization problem? Does this mean something else? Does this like one of these things that's going to be like really offensive to some group of people or something? You know, who knows? That's the weird thing. That's, you know, you hear about that stuff. Matt. Would you be interested, Matt, sometime, if this is where Matt never comes in chat again? Would you be interested in like if I picked your brain sometime on the stream, like on a Discord call? I would love to ask you so many questions about like what it's like in the industry and everything. Just because like I've always been fascinated by the whole thing. And okay, cool. I don't know if I know you on Discord. Maybe I can hit you up on there because DMing on Twitch is weird and kind of crappy. I'll hit you up on a whisper on Twitch and then we can go from there. There might be things I can't answer though. Okay. Yeah, maybe I'll just sort of precursorily ask you like, hey, what about like could we talk about this or whatever? And also it could just be broad strokes and not anything specific. As far as like if it's like, oh, I can't really, but yeah, yeah, I'll talk to you and then because if I can look up your game history as well and just kind of go through it and understand like what you were involved in and everything, then I can help focus it. There's a lot I don't remember. I totally get that. I've been just kind of doing this for like 11 years, streaming on and off, not on a consistent basis really until recently, and then I kind of stopped. But I totally get that. I don't know how, like there's certain guys in the industry that'll talk about stuff that they did and it's just like, dude, how are you remembering all this? Because like like in a way it's still a job and you still just sort of let things go. Just tell us the NDA things. Happy to chat either way. Okay, cool. And we don't have to do it live on the stream either. Like maybe I could like talk to you and just record it and then throw it up on a VOD. I'll talk to you about it offline. That'd be great. That'd be awesome. But yeah, yeah, there's certain people that'll talk about just like who is it? The guy that did Andy Gavin, the guy who did, you know, a lot of the early like Crash Bandicoot and everything. Like the way that he can remember everything, it's like, dude, I don't understand. Like, what? Yeah, I don't know how they remember everything. I have large chunks I've forgotten or blacked out. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, man. Okay. Bloom, bloom. Let's do an outline on the text. Font sizes, colors, font color, outline color. And then we need a constant that's the size of the outline, right? Outline size. I would love to just glam this up too, but we just need it to read for now. I'd love for this to change over time when it's chaining and stuff. Let's do every number just to see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. Okay, so nothing's really bleeding over. Of course, this isn't all in the same order. It's not fixed width. Cricket, are you a label settings kind of guy or a theme kind of guy? I want to believe in themes so much. You know what I wish Godot had? Maybe I should just make an extension for it to do this. I wish there was a button you could press. When you do theme overrides, I wish you could say, create this as a setting, a type variation. So you do your overrides here, design it how you want it here, and then stamp that into a variation. Instead of having to go play with it, I wish there was a button called make game. But yeah, if you could pick your theme, right? And then take your overrides and just say, make that a type variation. That would be really nice. I do that using theme gen. I basically do all that using code. But basically what you just said without a GUI. Okay. Label settings. I don't know what label settings is even, dude. You know what other thing that I started to work on that I'm going to be doing is anything where there's a text input here, right? Where you can assign this. I'm extending the class and calling it label or label translate. Or actually it should probably be translate label. And then what happens is whatever you put in here automatically puts it as the English key, like it does the English value for it and makes a key based off of the initial value. And so it creates it'll create, you type the thing in here and then it puts the string value for English above it as the English translation version and then puts the key. Yeah, it hooks the key in and everything. And so that way, label settings are theme overrides, but only for label. Really? Where are they located? Let me just look this up. Settings. Label settings. Oh, that's terrible. I mean, if you're going to do it for one, you should do it for all of them. That's weird. That's a weirdly specific. This must be, I'm guessing this is an internationalization thing. Because maybe you need to change the label settings often depending on the language. Last time I checked with Wallaber, he was doing some magic with UI and Godot. I mean, there's nothing from stopping you to just draw. You know, it depends on what you need to do. There's nothing to stop you from just drawing your own UI however you want it. And I feel like, frankly, sometimes that's the easier way to go. I just feel like Godot's UI is so like, there's so many knobs and levers and dials and everything. It pays to know that when you look at this stuff, like if I collapse this, I see 4 changes, right? This is critical to train your eye to look at this and notice this when you're trying to debug something in the UI stuff. I think Wallaber can only do magic. Thanks for being objectively correct. But I mean, that's one of the nice things about Godot, and I know H-Engine does it its own way, but you can easily inject into the IDE your own flavor to it and be like, I'm going to add, like I have this reload button, right? This is just like a simple thing. It doesn't exist in Godot normally, but now I can just like test the tweening when we pop this thing up. Like, what is it going to look like? This is kind of nice. It's just nice to be able to have something like this and like mess with it and see what it would look like. And it doesn't take a lot of time. Yeah, I'm pulling the rotation randomly. I hope that they make the internal controls available to use in your own editor stuff. For example, the resource picker. I think that's now available. Oh, like how you how it automatically, you tell it what scope of the resource you can pick, and then it has the navigator and then the drop down thing and everything. Or the window where you can. Yeah. There's a lot of things that aren't like baking animations is only in Animation Player. There's no way to do it through code. I don't believe you can bake animations through code, which is like really weird. If you want to do that, you have to write your own. You make a for loop and you go through and you key everything that you scrub the animation and then you key it. So it's only in the Godot Animation Player. More level devil. All right, I'll get back to it, Wixer. Yeah, so let's get these popping up on the screen. And for now, we're just going to do 1 point for everything that we shoot. And the idea here is I'm going to use Godot's UI. We're not going to do this in 3D. We're not going to do this with a 3D label. This is literally going to draw on top of everything in our UI world, right? Over the camera and everything. What I would love is to get it to be in 3D space and everything like that. But I feel like if we're making this like chain and point driven stuff, you always want to be able to see those points and have them readable and stuff. Maybe I'll scale it based on where it is in 3D space, but it'll always draw on top. Really to hope there's a few architect type people at Godot who are working on tidying up these little things, because the engine does seem to be coming along. Yeah, I think it's just a scope thing. They need to work on, there was a recent talk from about how to contribute to Godot from the Godot guys at the latest Godot Con. That's really good to reference if you're wanting to contribute to the engine. And it does provide some information as to why sometimes they're so busy they just ignore suggestions. And if they're ignoring it, it's a sign that they're not going to do it. And they have recently updated their like philosophical objectives for the Godot engine. I don't know if that's on godotengine.org, easily readable. And they are getting like Tesla, I think, and even who are the Fortnite guys? Epic is giving them money now. Tesla is, so they're getting some pretty big contributor, like some big like dumps of money to help with the here's the vision for the engine. So they just updated this. Here's the vision statement. So these are the like outlines of what they want to do. I do think that Godot has a real problem with how easy it is to rip games. They've made it so, like, ironically, everything that's great about Godot makes it so easy for someone to just straight up strip your game out, see the source code, and the project structure, like open it in the Godot editor. So I think that's a real problem. I get that there's different philosophies on that, but I personally would want to make it a little bit of friction. So you end up having to figure that out on your own, basically how to prevent that from happening. Even if you encrypt it, it's still the key to decrypt is always in the same spot in memory. And so that's not even a way to stop it. The tooling to rip a game is real easy. Tons of reverse engineering tools for Unity as well. Not too difficult. Yeah. So that's one of the bummers about doing an engine as well. If you're doing something from scratch, decompilation and everything, it ends up, it gets a little bit more difficult. But again, there's like standard file formats and stuff like that. So you can help people rip in your stuff, like all your meshes are somewhere or whatever. And that's pretty easy, I imagine. That reminds me, I need to look in some obfuscation stuff. My plan is to get the Godot source, run it through an obfuscator, compile that, and then use that to build my games, and then my encryption and everything. And then finding the key would be a lot harder to track down, or at least it would be a lot. You'd really need to know what you're doing in order to find it. Hey T, I ripped apart your game. I was looking for a high score code. Wanted to put my name on the top of the scoreboard. Yeah. Anyways, all right. Let's get back to being focused here. I got to get this on. I've been distracted all day. I've been chatting it up, but that's good. So I'm gonna take my kids and I. Here's what we're gonna do for class tomorrow, because making maps and stuff is like a big. Not a big part of it, but it's part of like geography, right? It's like making a map and stuff. So here's what we're going to do. I have my butter cookie tin, right? I'm going to ask the kids to bury something that's special, but not too special. And we're going to put it in here in a bag and then put everything in and seal it up into this tin, right? And then we're going to go and build a map, like a treasure map, basically, bury it. And then in a year's time, we'll bring out that treasure map again and try to find it and get it out of the ground. So that sounds like a cool thing to do, right? Anyways. M's always bragging about how good she is. Cricket, I did something like that. There's plugins that make it a little harder. It's basically open. Yeah. Of course, if you have a brain, it's still 10 minutes away from being open. Yeah, it's just the guys that are flipping games onto like Android and iOS, and you know, you can't get that money back once they sell it. Apple's not going to be like, whoops, here you go. You know, that'll never happen. Yeah, if somebody really wants to, they will. Yeah. Yeah, I'm with Matt. It's like you lock your front door so that the drug-addled guy who comes up and tries the handle doesn't get in. You know? Like, that's why you lock your door. That's it. Like, if somebody wants to break into your house, they really can. But, yeah. Anyways. Yeah. But what I'm interested in is doing some sort of piracy check. Like, is there a way I can write the code in my game so that when someone does rip it, something is then a switch is flipped inside the game code that they don't know about, that they wouldn't even look for, that has some mundane name that then completely changes the output of the game. Or maybe breaks something that they wouldn't, what GTA 2 did. Oh yeah. I'm not familiar with that, but yeah, something where there's like a dead man switch or something where like, because it's like not the Steam build anymore. Like, is there a way I can check for, like, if for instance I have a Steam build, that's what they're going to rip it from, right? So it's like, is there a way in that I can check something that can be a yes for me, but a no for them against Steam, even if there's a way to do something like that, and then use that to then silently destroy something about the game that wouldn't be caught in early, like, oh, does it work kind of thing. Checksums. Yeah. Something, I don't know. I gotta look into that, but the only way I can think to do it is if there's a API call I can make to Steam to check for a certain value that's unique to me, that then wouldn't be true for them. Virus built in, they rip it, they get a virus. Yeah. So you'd do a bunch of random shit with a real thing hidden in there somewhere. Yeah. Something, and then when you try to look at the code, it's like, it doesn't seem like it's doing what you think it's doing. I don't know. Yeah. Something like that. I mean, I know the game has a unique identifier, right? But I'll look into the Steamworks stuff and see, I think the answer would be somewhere in an API call to validate something. And then basically if it can't even make that call, then it silently knows, oh, okay, I'm not even on Steam right now. So I'm going to do this other thing. I see some built with PCK encryption in Godot, not sure. No, it doesn't. Out of the box PCK encryption is there. The tools on GitHub for decompilation will break that immediately. So even though you have to compile Godot and make your own encryption template and everything, it still is super easy to break. It's a script kiddie thing now, for sure. It doesn't, it literally with the tooling stuff, it doesn't stop anything. Yeah. The key is in the binary in the same memory portion. Some kind of server-side encryption. I mean, what you could do is have a PCK that needs to be downloaded to complete the execution of the game. Store that somewhere else. And then when somebody rips your game, they can run it locally. They think everything is fine, but when they go to build the game, it's now missing that reference and can't pull it down. So you could do something like that too. Yeah. There's a new talk from Godot that has a bunch of recommendations, but they're not very good. One of the better things though that was mentioned in it is leaving invisible watermarks in your textures and in your sound files so you can prove that it was pirated to the necessary parties. And apparently that's a good way of protecting your property, is to just lay some traps in there. Yeah, put some copyrighted whatever in the texture, but you have to run this tool on it and it'll show it. That kind of stuff. And even as simple as like metadata, these guys aren't going to be caring about scraping stuff off metadata or whatever. So it might be as simple as just leaving it. And you could also, most of these file formats allow you to create your own spec on top of it, right? So like you could lay in something in metadata that they would never even know was there. That you would open it up in like, you know how you see the timestamp of the camera that it came from or whatever on the file. You could just put something that wouldn't even show up there, but it's there. Put the audio backwards. And yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, that's like for the big guys, I guess, to worry about that. But even, I mean, you know, like the guys that made Slay the Spire 2 in Godot didn't care about it at all. It's all just totally open. You can just get it and look at everything. So I think it's just like, you know, different philosophies on that kind of stuff. But I think if you're big, you have a level of protection that if you're small, you're just not granted. And so you kind of, you know, it's like living on you're from the streets, you know, it's like a different, like people are always trying to mug you or whatever, you know, but if you're like kind of upper class and whatever, you're in a gated community, you're a little more, you can be a little less like, oh, I don't have to lock my door. Like there's like that kind of thing. Right. So, anyways, okay. So now we need to have points. We need to have an array of points. We have this class name as point, but let's change it back to point singular. I don't know why I ever name classes with a plural. Okay. And so in UI here, we're going to have a packed scene. That's a point. And we're just going to create a pool of them. And then we'll grab whatever one's not being used. We'll just grab the next one off the stack and use that. So points, we're going to grab the UID. I do love the UIDs in Godot. I know some people weren't happy about it, but UIDs are great. It's just nice to know that you can move a file around or rename it and not have to touch your code again. It's really handy. Okay, so we have our pack scene point here, and then over on audio or on UI, we're going to just create, you know what? I think I will start using the grouping like this. My instinct is to want to put it here, even if it's not an export. So I will. UIDs for data. Yeah, it's great. Points is just an array of point. And then we need so we have point speed, point pool size. I think we're probably only going to need like 8. We'll have an assertion in case we ever display more than that at a given moment. We should know our maximums though at some point as we start to design everything. I have another idea for this too. I don't want to give away too much about what I'm imagining. Level devil. Oh, is this a? Did you do a? Oh, the Tetrio. I'm sorry. Yeah, give me the link again. Wixer, give me the link. I'm sorry, I don't have a sound redeem for that, so I don't notice it. I didn't know what you meant. Wixer, I'm so sorry. I didn't know what you meant. Poor Wixer. Wixer's like, no. Okay, so there's our pool. That's a really good pattern to know. Just like doing that kind of stuff. Here we go. All right, taking a 10-minute break here. Oh god. Knew it. No! I was like, it's gonna be on the other side. No! Why am I getting so cocky? No, that's messed up. Oh. There we go. No! Oh, that's fucked up. Damn it, I did it again. All right, hang on. Damn. Oh! No! There was an X-Fest demo called The Trees Hate You that was equally hilarious. Ah, stupid ads. All right, hang on. The trick to not having ads is just to reload again. Didn't give me that time. That was a trip. Oh! Damn it, I knew it. Got it. This is rather fantastic. I love that it's like, it's basically Pitfall style graphics. Like this is Atari 2600 level stuff here. Woo. All right, we'll do yeah, one more round of this. Not used to getting trolled out of the first one. There we go. Logic Loops, how's it going? This is called Level Devil. The link to it is up above. Wixer has it up there in the chat. I'm just playing on a break. How you doing? This is like that friend that thinks that like pulling some sort of like joke on you is really funny and they keep doing it. Oh my god. Damn it. Oh god. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Got it. Whoever designed this is totally going to end up with a layer and a volcano and a skull. Ads. Rad, how's it going? I think we might have to have this ad roll. Because if I reload, it's... Sorry, let me mute. I wonder how much money you make putting out games on something like this. You know? I know, let me do a shout out to Irad here. Irad, another Godot streamer. My Italian stallion, as I call him. Working on a typing game. Working on a typing game. Oh, I got to do exclamation point, not a slash. So we got another typing game, bro. Ooh, okay. Woo, got it. All right, that's it for this round. That's it for this round. Okay, guys, here's what's gonna doing. Is everyone doing a typing game? all of the peoples are doing typing games. Maybe what we need to do is combine all of our typing games into a singular typing game.
You making a typing game now?
I am.
You are?
No, Pogorli is in chat. No, I'm not.
Do a typing game jam. Has anyone ever done that?
Typing game jam? Oh yeah, I'm sure there might be a whole category of that. Let's see what we're doing here. How many people do we have? 42 of you. Holy smokes. Okay. We're going to raid out. And who are we going to raid? We could do Freshwater Fern. Making games for 10 years, 0 income. Hey, that's me. Mecha Mavis Beacon destroys typing. I have a game on Crazy Games, which is a similar website, and made 350 in the first week of release, and then basically 0 after that.
They're blind. These are different colors of rad, but they are both rad.
So we could do Freshwater. We'll raid Freshwater. Much love to everybody out there.
All right, we're going to the
Be safe. Call a loved one. If there's somebody you haven't talked to in a while, give them a call. Tell them, say hi. Bury the hatchet with somebody else. Anyways, be good people. Stay safe. And I will see you guys later. Peace. Yeah, Mr. D-Boy, of course. Yeah, and I will be I'll be back to streaming. I don't know that I'm even going to get this jam game done in time, but I got to get focused on getting it finished. Bury the hatchet in someone. No.